The pre-dawn light crept through the narrow windows of the silver-lined shooting range, casting long shadows across the immaculate floor. Emma Rodriguez moved with the precision of a choreographed dance, her movements silent and calculated. At 28, she had transformed cleaning into an art form that most people would never appreciate. But she knew every detail mattered. Her morning routine was a ritual of dedication. Before the first customers arrived, Emma would methodically prepare the range, each station a canvas waiting to be perfected. The firearms gleamed under her careful touch, not just cleaned, but respected. To Emma, these were more than just weapons. They were tools that demanded reverence, precision, and absolute care. The shooting range was more than just a workplace. It was her sanctuary, her stage, her quiet kingdom where she ruled with an unspoken authority that few recognized. Her olive skin, slightly weathered from years of hard work, told a story of resilience. Dark hair pulled tightly back, eyes alert and observant, Emma embodied a quiet strength that most people overlooked. Her journey to this moment was anything but straightforward. Growing up in a rough Phoenix neighborhood, Emma had learned early that survival meant being invisible yet invaluable. Her parents, Mexican immigrants who had arrived with nothing but hope and determination, had instilled in her a work ethic that bordered on religious devotion. Trabajo duro, hija. Her father would say, "Work hard, daughter." Those words echoed in every careful movement she made. Single motherhood had been her greatest challenge and her most profound joy. Miguel, her 10-year-old son, was the center of her universe. Every extra hour worked, every careful decision made was for him. She remembered the nights she'd come home exhausted, muscles aching, but still finding the energy to help Miguel with his homework, to listen to his dreams, to ensure he had opportunities she never had. The shooting range was an unexpected chapter in her life. Most people would find it strange. A petite Latina woman working in a predominantly male environment, cleaning firearms with a level of expertise that would surprise even the most seasoned shooters. But Emma had long ago learned that expectations were meant to be quietly shattered. Her keen observational skills had become her greatest asset. While cleaning, she absorbed everything. The way customers handled their weapons, their body language, the subtle tensions that would rise and fall throughout the day. She knew the regulars by their habits, the retired military veterans who came for therapeutic shooting, the law enforcement officers practicing their skills, the weekend warriors seeking an adrenaline rush. Each firearm told a story. Emma could read the history and the wear of a grip, the slight scratches that spoke of use, the maintenance, or lack thereof, that revealed a weapon's true relationship with its owner. She wasn't just cleaning. She was preserving stories, maintaining tools that could mean the difference between life and death for those who depended on them. The early morning silence was her favorite time. Before the thunderous sounds of gunfire would fill the range, before the testosterone-fueled conversations and the occasional bravado, there was this moment of pure potential. Emma would run her hands along the cleaning rags, check her supplies, ensure everything was perfect. Perfection was her armor, her pride, her way of showing the world that she was more than what met the eye. Her son Miguel often didn't understand the depth of her work. "Why do you care so much about cleaning guns?" he'd ask. Emma would smile, knowing that her meticulousness was about more than just cleaning. It was about respect, about understanding that every tool, every job, deserved absolute commitment. The range manager, Tom Reynolds, had long ago stopped questioning her methods. What began as skepticism had transformed into deep respect. "I've never seen anyone clean like you, Emma," he'd told her more than once. "You don't just clean, you restore." It was the closest thing to a compliment she'd received in years, and it meant everything. Her life was a careful balance of survival and hope. Each day was a delicate dance of providing for Miguel, maintaining her job, and holding on to the dreams that she had carefully tucked away. Dreams of something more, something different, something that went beyond the daily routine of cleaning and maintaining. Little did Emma know that her life was about to change. The universe has a way of presenting opportunities to those who are prepared, to those who have been quietly waiting, to those who have been practicing excellence without recognition. As the first rays of sunlight fully entered the range, Emma finished her morning preparation. The firearms gleamed, the stations were perfect, the floor spotless. She took a moment, just a moment, to breathe, to appreciate the silence before the storm of daily life would rush in. She was the invisible guardian of the Silver Line shooting range, unnoticed, unappreciated by most, but absolutely essential. Her story was about to begin, though she had no idea of the transformation that awaited her. The day was just beginning, and with it, a journey that would challenge everything she knew about herself, about possibility, about the very limits of her own potential. The Arizona sun beat down mercilessly on the Silver Line shooting range's parking lot, but Marcus Holloway seemed impervious to the heat. At 42, he carried himself with a presence that spoke of years of military training, a coiled intensity that suggested danger and discipline in equal measure. His skin, weathered by years of desert deployments and special forces missions, told a story of survival that few could comprehend. Marcus was not just another veteran. He was a ghost, a man who had spent decades operating in the shadows of global conflict, now struggling to find his place in a world that seemed too small, too mundane after years of high-stakes missions. 3 tours in Afghanistan, 2 in Iraq, multiple classified operations that would never see the light of day. These were the chapters of his life that he kept locked away, shared only in fleeting moments with those who truly understood. His latest mission was different. After years of protecting others on foreign soil, Marcus had found a new battlefield, helping veterans transition to civilian life. The Holloway Veteran Empowerment Program was more than just a non-profit. It was his personal crusade, born from the pain of watching too many brothers in arms struggle to find purpose after service. As he entered the shooting range, Marcus moved with a predator's grace. Every entrance was a tactical assessment, exits, potential threats, human dynamics. It was a habit ingrained by years of special forces training, a survival instinct that never truly leaves a soldier. But today, something was different. Emma Rodriguez caught his attention not through any dramatic moment, but through the most subtle of performances. Her cleaning routine was more than just maintenance. It was a masterclass in precision, respect, and unspoken professionalism. Most would have overlooked her, but Marcus saw what others missed. He had been coming to this range for months, using shooting as a form of therapy, a way to process the ghosts of his past. Post-traumatic stress was a constant companion, a shadow that followed him through civilian life. The rhythmic sounds of gunfire, the smell of gunpowder, these were his touchstones, his connection to a world that made sense. Marcus watched Emma with the same intensity he once reserved for high stakes reconnaissance missions. The way she handled each firearm, the methodical approach to her cleaning, the absolute concentration, these were the markers of something special. Leadership wasn't about grand gestures, he knew. It was about attention to detail, about understanding. Systems, about seeing potential where others saw nothing. His own journey had been anything but easy. Returning from years of special operations, Marcus had faced his own demons. The transition to civilian life was a battle more challenging than any he'd fought overseas. He'd seen too many veterans, lost to addiction, to depression, to a system that seemed designed to forget those who had sacrificed the most. The Holloway Veteran Empowerment Program was his answer. More than just job training, it was a holistic approach to veteran transition. Technical skills, leadership development, mental health support. Marcus had designed a program that addressed the whole person, not just their professional potential. And now, watching Emma, he saw something remarkable. Most would see a cleaning staff, a background worker invisible to most. Marcus saw a leader waiting to be awakened. Her movements spoke of discipline that couldn't be taught, of an innate understanding of systems and precision that was rare. He remembered his own mentor, Sergeant Robert Garcia, who had seen potential in a young, angry Marcus decades ago. Sometimes, Garcia would say, leadership looks nothing like you expect. It's not about the loudest voice, but the most consistent action. Those words echoed now as Marcus observed Emma. The range was beginning to fill with the day's first shooters, a mix of law enforcement, military personnel, and weekend enthusiasts. But Marcus's attention remained fixed on the woman who seemed to breathe life into the very environment around her. His approach would require strategy. He had learned long ago that potential leaders don't respond to direct confrontation or obvious recruitment. They needed to be approached with respect, with an understanding of their current world. For weeks, Marcus observed. He began timing his visits to match her shifts, watching her interact with the range staff, noting her interactions with customers. Every observation confirmed his initial assessment. Emma Rodriguez was something special. The challenge he was about to present was more than a job offer. It was a lifeline, a portal to a world of possibility that she had likely never imagined. The Holloway Veteran Empowerment Program had transformed lives before, but something told Marcus that Emma would be different. As the day progressed, Marcus knew the moment was approaching. His military training had taught him about timing, about creating opportunities. Emma Rodriguez was about to be presented with a choice that could change everything, though she didn't know it yet. The invisible guardian was about to be seen. The journey was about to begin. The night descended on Phoenix like a heavy blanket, pressing against the small apartment windows, where Emma Rodriguez sat, surrounded by the remnants of her carefully constructed life. Unpaid bills formed a mosaic on the kitchen table, each piece a testament to the delicate balance she maintained daily. Miguel was asleep in the next room, his steady breathing a constant reminder of why she fought so hard, why she never allowed herself to dream too big. Doubt was not just an emotion for Emma. It was a lifelong companion, a shadow that had followed her since childhood. Her parents' immigrant story was etched into her DNA, a narrative of survival, of making something from nothing, of never risking the stability they had fought so hard to achieve. Every opportunity came with a price, and Emma had learned early that safety was worth more than potential. Marcus Holloway's proposition hung in the air like a provocative challenge. The training program he described was more than just a job. Opportunity. It was an invitation to a world she had never allowed herself to imagine. Her mind became a battlefield, memories and fears clashing like opposing armies. She remembered her mother's words, spoken years ago when Emma had dreamed of going to college. Seguridad primero, mía. Safety first, my daughter. Those words had become her mantra, her protection against the unpredictable world. The shooting range had been her sanctuary, her controlled environment where she understood every movement, every expectation. Tom Reynolds, the range manager, had been good to her. Steady paycheck, predictable hours, the ability to provide for Miguel. These were not small things. These were the foundations of survival. But something about Marcus's offer lingered. The way he had looked at her, not with pity, not with condescension, but with a recognition that felt both terrifying and intoxicating. He saw something in her that she had carefully buried years ago. Potential. Her phone buzzed. A message from her sister Rosa, always the dreamer of the family. You should take the chance, Emma. When was the last time you did something just for you? The question hung in the air, challenging everything. Miguel's voice drifted from the bedroom. "Mama?" His soft call pulled her back to reality, a reminder of the stakes. Emma's life had been a masterclass in calculated risk management. As a single mother, every decision was a careful equation. Who would watch Miguel during training? Could they afford the potential instability? What if she failed? Her mind traveled back to her childhood, to the small apartment where her parents had navigated the complex world of immigration. Her father, Pedro Rodriguez, had worked 3 jobs to provide stability. Her mother, Maria, had been the family's emotional anchor, teaching her children that survival meant staying invisible, staying safe. But survival was more than just existing. Emma knew this intellectually, even if her heart struggled to believe. The training program Marcus described, was comprehensive. Leadership development, technical skills, veteran support services. It was more than a job. It was a pathway to transformation. Each detail he had shared was meticulously designed, speaking to a level of strategic thinking that resonated with her own precise nature. Her cleaning work at the shooting range had always been more than just a job. It was a performance of excellence, a daily demonstration of her commitment, her ability to see what others missed. Marcus had recognized this. He had seen her in a way no one else had. The financial implications were terrifying. Her current job provided stability, predictable income. The program promised potential, but potential didn't pay immediate bills. Each pro came with a corresponding con. Each opportunity weighted against risk. Miguel became her unexpected ally in this internal battle. "Mama," he had said earlier, his 10-year-old wisdom cutting through her adult fears. "Sometimes you have to jump to know you can fly." Children had a way of simplifying complex equations. Rose's message continued to taunt her. When was the last time she had done something just for herself? Motherhood had been her identity, survival her primary goal. Personal dreams had become luxuries she couldn't afford. But Marcus's offer was different. It wasn't just about her. It was about creating a better future for Miguel, about showing him that transformation was possible, if limitations were often self-imposed. The Veterans Transition Program wasn't just a job training initiative. It was a lifeline for those who had sacrificed everything, a bridge between military service and civilian life. Emma understood sacrifice. She understood the challenge of reinvention. Her hands, calloused from years of cleaning, seemed to tell a story of their own. Each scar, each line a testament to hard work, to survival, to quiet resilience. The apartment felt both confining and expansive. Possibility and fear danced a delicate waltz, each movement a negotiation with her past, each moment a conversation with her potential future. Marcus had seen something in her. Not just skills, not just potential, but a leadership quality that had remained dormant, waiting to be awakened. As the night deepened, Emma Rodriguez understood that this was more than a job opportunity. This was an invitation to rewrite her story, to step beyond the boundaries she had set for herself. The decision was approaching. The internal battle was reaching its crescendo, and for the first time in years, Emma allowed herself to hope. The first day of training felt like stepping into an alternate universe. Emma Rodriguez sat in a room filled with veterans, their stories etched into their skin, their experiences radiating an intensity that made her feel simultaneously small and incredibly alive. The conference room at the Holloway Veteran Empowerment Center was nothing like the shooting range she knew, sleek, modern, with walls adorned with motivational quotes and mission statements that seemed to pulse with possibility. Marcus Holloway stood at the front of the room, not as a lecturer, but as a conductor of potential. His presence was magnetic, drawing every eye, commanding attention without saying a word. Emma found herself studying him, trying to understand the man who had seen something in her that she had never acknowledged in herself. The morning began with introductions, a ritual that Emma had always found uncomfortable. But today was different. When her turn came, she surprised herself. "I'm Emma Rodriguez," she began, her voice steady. "I've spent years cleaning the Silverline shooting range, and I'm here to learn what I'm truly capable of." A ripple of respect moved through the room. The veterans, men and women from diverse backgrounds, each with stories of service and survival, recognized something in her. It wasn't just her words, but the quiet determination that underscored them. Marcus's first lesson was counterintuitive. "Leadership," he began, "is not about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about understanding systems, about seeing what others miss." He looked directly at Emma as he spoke, a subtle acknowledgement of the potential he had recognized. The morning sessions were a blend of technical training and personal development. Emma discovered that her years of meticulous cleaning had prepared her for more than she realized. Attention to detail, understanding complex systems, maintaining equipment, these were skills that translated directly into leadership principles. But it was more than just skills. The program was designed to break down barriers, to challenge the participants' perceptions of themselves. Group exercises pushed everyone out of their comfort zones. Emma found herself leading small team discussions, her natural observational skills emerging in ways she had never anticipated. During a team-building exercise, Marcus divided the group into teams tasked with solving a complex logistical challenge. Emma was initially hesitant, her old instincts of staying invisible threatening to resurface. But something had changed. The same precision she brought to cleaning firearms now translated into strategic thinking. Her team looked to her for guidance. At first, she was terrified. But then something remarkable happened. She began to speak, her words carefully chosen, her strategy emerging from years of observational expertise. The veterans listened, not out of politeness, but with genuine respect. Miguel's words echoed in her mind. "Sometimes you have to jump to know you can fly." The lunch break became a moment of reflection. Emma sat with a group of veterans, their stories both heartbreaking and inspiring. Sarah Thompson, a former military intelligence officer, shared her own journey of transformation. "The biggest battle," Sarah told her, "is always the one in your own mind." Marcus's approach was deliberate. Each session was designed to challenge participants' self-limiting beliefs. Technical skills were important, but the program dove deeper, exploring emotional intelligence, communication strategies, personal branding. Emma discovered she was a quick study. Her years of observing people at the shooting range had given her an intuitive understanding of human dynamics that many veterans struggled to develop. Where others saw a cleaning staff, Marcus had recognized a natural strategist. The afternoon brought a session on personal narrative, understanding how to articulate one's own story. Emma's initial reluctance gave way to a powerful moment of self-discovery. As she shared her journey from a child of immigrants to a single mother working at a shooting range, the room fell silent. "I've spent my life trying to be invisible," she realized aloud, believing that survival meant staying unnoticed. The vulnerability of the moment was transformative. The veterans around her saw not weakness, but strength. Marcus watched from the sidelines, a subtle smile acknowledging the moment of breakthrough. This was why he had chosen Emma, not for her past, but for her potential. The day concluded with a one-on-one session with Marcus. His office was sparse, military-like in its efficiency. But there was warmth in his approach, a genuine belief in the potential of each participant. "You're not just learning skills," Marcus told her. "You're reimagining what's possible for yourself." Emma thought of Miguel, of the life she was building. This wasn't just about her. It was about creating a future full of possibility. As she drove home that evening, something had fundamentally shifted. The woman who had entered the training center that morning was not the same woman returning. Home, the invisible guardian was becoming visible, her potential awakening like a sunrise after a long, dark night. The transformation had begun. Week 3 of the Holloway Veteran Empowerment Program felt like standing at the base of an insurmountable mountain. Technical skills, communication strategies, team dynamics. Each module became a new challenge that threatened to overwhelm. Emma Rodriguez. The comfortable world she had known was systematically being dismantled, rebuilt with each passing day. The program's intensity was deliberate. Marcus Holloway understood that transformation was not a gentle process. It was a crucible, a forge that would burn away self-doubt and reshape potential into something extraordinary. Technical training pushed Emma far beyond her comfort zone. Computer systems that once seemed incomprehensible began to make sense. Cybersecurity modules that would have terrified her weeks ago now became puzzles to be solved. Her meticulous nature, once confined to cleaning firearms, now found expression in complex problem-solving scenarios. But the real challenges were not just technical. They were deeply personal. A communication workshop became a moment of profound vulnerability. Participants were asked to share their most significant personal challenges, to deconstruct the barriers that had held them back. Emma's turn came, and the room fell silent. "I've spent my entire life trying to be invisible," she began, her voice steady but laden with emotion. "As a child of immigrants, as a single mother, I believed that survival meant not being seen. My job cleaning the shooting range was perfect. I could be present but unnoticed." The veterans around her listened with a depth of understanding that transcended words. They recognized in Emma a familiar struggle, the battle between survival and potential, between safety and growth. Marcus had designed the program to be more than just skill development. It was a holistic approach to personal transformation. Psychological assessments, leadership development workshops, physical conditioning, each element was carefully crafted to challenge participants' self-limiting beliefs. The Team Dynamics module became Emma's greatest test. A complex simulation required the group to solve an intricate logistical challenge. Teams were intentionally mixed, designed to create friction, to test leadership under pressure. Emma found herself leading a diverse group of veterans, each with their own strong personality, their own set of experiences. Initial moments were challenging. Veterans accustomed to military hierarchies struggled with collaborative leadership. Emma's approach was different. She listened more than she spoke, observing the team's dynamics with the same precision she once applied to cleaning firearms. Her breakthrough came unexpectedly. During a particularly tense moment in the simulation, Emma's observational skills became their greatest asset. She saw connections others missed, proposed solutions that integrated each team member's strengths. "It's like cleaning a complex firearm," she explained to her bewildered teammates. "Every part matters. Every component has a purpose. The key is understanding how they work together." The veterans exchanged looks of surprise. The cleaning staff they had initially underestimated was revealing depths they hadn't anticipated. Physical training brought its own set of challenges. Emma, who had never considered herself athletic, discovered a resilience she didn't know existed. Early morning workouts became a test of mental fortitude. Where she once would have given up, she now pushed through, drawing strength from the veterans around her. Nights were a delicate balancing act. Miguel stayed with her sister Rosa, a support system that made this journey possible. Late night, video calls became moments of connection, of sharing her growing excitement. "Mama, you sound different," Miguel observed one evening. "Like you're becoming something more." Out of the program's 20 participants, only 12 would be selected for advanced leadership roles. The competition was intense, the stakes high. Emma discovered a competitive spirit she had long suppressed. A pivotal moment came during a crisis management simulation. The scenario was complex, a simulated cyber attack on a critical infrastructure system. Teams were required to develop rapid response strategies to make split-second decisions under extreme pressure. Emma's team struggled initially. Veterans with extensive military backgrounds approached the problem with traditional tactical thinking. She saw something different, a systemic approach that considered multiple layers of response. Her strategy was unconventional. Where others saw a linear problem, she saw a complex ecosystem. Her cleaning background had taught her that every system has interconnected parts, that true maintenance requires understanding the entire mechanism. Marcus watched from the observation room, a subtle smile acknowledging the transformation unfolding before him. The psychological toll was significant. Each day stripped away another layer of self-protection, another barrier Emma had carefully constructed over years of survival. She was learning that vulnerability was not weakness, but a form of extraordinary strength. Support came from unexpected sources. The veterans in the program, initially skeptical, became her strongest allies. They recognized in her a determination that transcended traditional boundaries. Sarah Thompson, the former military intelligence officer, became a mentor of sorts. "You're doing something remarkable," she told Emma during a late-night study session. "You're not just learning. You're reimagining what's possible." As the weeks progressed, Emma Rodriguez was no longer the invisible guardian of the shooting range. She was becoming a leader, a strategist, a woman who was learning to see her own potential. The impossible was becoming possible, one challenge at a time. The final project of the Holloway Veteran Empowerment Program was designed to be the ultimate test, a comprehensive challenge that would push each participant to their absolute limits. For Emma Rodriguez, it would become the moment that would define her entire journey, a crucible that would either forge her into a leader or shatter her emerging confidence. The scenario was complex, a simulated crisis management exercise that combined elements of technological disruption, community response, and leadership under extreme pressure. Participants were divided into teams, each tasked with responding to a hypothetical multi-layered emergency that threatened a mid-sized city's critical infrastructure. Emma's team seemed mismatched from the start. Veterans with decades of military experience, each carrying their own traumas, their own leadership styles. Where others saw potential conflict, Emma saw an opportunity for integration. The first day of the project revealed the depth of the challenge. Initial strategy sessions were fraught with tension. Military veterans used to hierarchical structures clashed with those advocating for more collaborative approaches. Emma found herself in an unexpected position, the mediator, the strategist who could see beyond the immediate conflicts. Marcus Holloway watched from the sidelines, his observational skills as sharp as ever. This was more than just a test of technical skills. It was an examination of true leadership, the ability to unite, to see potential where others saw only division. The simulated crisis began with a cascading series of challenges. A cyber attack compromised the city's communication systems. Simultaneously, a complex industrial accident threatened environmental and human safety. The team needed to develop a comprehensive response strategy that addressed multiple critical areas simultaneously. Emma's background, her years of meticulous observation, her understanding of complex systems became her greatest asset. Where others saw isolated problems, she saw interconnected challenges. Her approach was surgical, precise, drawing from her experience cleaning firearms, understanding that every component matters. That true effectiveness comes from holistic understanding. But the pressure was immense. As hours turned into days, the simulation became increasingly complex. Personal demons emerged. Veterans struggled with triggered memories, with the weight of past experiences. The team began to fracture. A pivotal moment came 3 days into the simulation. The team's initial strategy had fallen apart. Tensions were at a breaking point. Veterans with years of military experience began to doubt themselves, to question their capabilities. Emma's moment of leadership emerged from what seemed like certain failure. "We're approaching this wrong," she said, her voice cutting through the rising tension. "We're looking at these challenges as separate issues. They're not. They're a system, interconnected, complex, but manageable if we approach them differently." Her strategy was unconventional. She began to map out the crisis like she would approach cleaning a complex mechanism. Each challenge became a component, each team member's skill a specialized tool. She didn't just propose a solution. She created a framework that allowed each team member to contribute their unique strengths. The veterans initially looked skeptical. A woman who had spent years cleaning a shooting range was now proposing a comprehensive crisis management strategy. But as she continued to explain, something shifted. Her approach was revelatory. She broke down the complex scenario into manageable components, identified critical interdependencies, and developed a responsive strategy that could adapt in real time. It wasn't about rigid military protocols. It was about understanding the living, breathing nature of complex systems. Marcus watched the transformation with a sense of quiet satisfaction. This was why he had seen potential in Emma. It wasn't about traditional leadership. It was about a unique way of seeing the world. The psychological toll was significant. As the simulation intensified, personal traumas began to surface. Veterans confronted memories of past missions, of losses that had defined their experiences. The crisis management exercise became more than just a technical challenge. It was a journey of personal reckoning. Emma found herself not just managing a crisis, but supporting her team through their individual struggles. Her leadership was empathetic, strategic, understanding that true crisis management was as much about human connection as it was about technical solutions. Hours blended into a continuous stream of challenge and response. The team worked in shifts, with Emma maintaining a constant overview. Her ability to remain calm, to see patterns where others saw chaos, became their greatest strength. On the 5th day, the simulation reached its breaking point. A series of cascading failures threatened to overwhelm their strategy. Veterans with years of military experience began to lose hope. The weight of the challenge seemed insurmountable. It was in this moment that Emma Rodriguez truly emerged as a leader. She didn't offer false reassurances. She didn't pretend the challenge was easy. Instead, she did something remarkable. She helped each team member recognize their unique value, their specific contribution to the larger strategy. "We're not fighting against each other," she told them. "We're fighting together with everything we've got." Her words were more than motivation. They were a lifeline, a reminder of their collective strength. As the simulation reached its final hours, something extraordinary happened. The team, once fractured, now moved with a unified purpose. Emma's leadership had transformed a group of individual veterans into a cohesive, adaptive unit. Marcus knew he was watching something special. This was more than just a successful simulation. This was a transformation of a team, of individuals, of potential itself. The breaking point had become a moment of extraordinary breakthrough. The final presentation was more than just an evaluation. It was a moment of reckoning, a public testament to the transformation that had occurred over the past months. The conference room at the Holloway Veteran Empowerment Center felt charged with anticipation, the air thick with the collective energy of those who had witnessed an extraordinary journey. Emma Rodriguez stood at the podium, a far cry from the invisible cleaning staff who had first entered the program. Her posture spoke of newfound confidence, her eyes reflecting a depth of understanding that went far beyond technical skills. The meticulousness that once applied to cleaning firearms now manifested in her approach to leadership, to problem-solving, to understanding complex human systems. Marcus Holloway sat in the front row, a subtle smile playing at the corners of his mouth. He had seen potential in Emma from the beginning, but even he was unprepared for the full extent of her transformation. Her presentation was a masterpiece of strategic thinking. She didn't just explain the crisis management simulation. She deconstructed it, revealing the intricate thought processes, the human dynamics, the systemic approach that had turned a potential failure into a remarkable success. Leadership is not about having all the answers, Emma began, her voice steady and clear. It's about creating a system where collective intelligence can emerge, where each individual's strength becomes part of a larger, more powerful whole. She walked the audience through the simulation, not as a technical report, but as a narrative of human potential. The veterans in the room, many of whom had initially underestimated her, now listened with rapt attention. The revelation was not just in her words, but in her method. She demonstrated how her background, years of cleaning, of observing, of understanding complex mechanisms, had prepared her for leadership in ways no traditional training could. Each slide was a testament to her journey. Images of the team. During the simulation, moments of tension and breakthrough told a story of transformation. Emma showed vulnerability in a way that was simultaneously strong and authentic. She didn't hide the challenges, the moments of doubt. Instead, she embraced them as crucial parts of the learning process. Her section on team dynamics was particularly powerful. She broke down how she had helped veterans with years of military experience see beyond their individual traumas, beyond their ingrained ways of thinking. It was a masterclass in empathetic leadership. The room was silent, captivated. Marcus remembered the first day Emma had entered the program, hesitant, invisible, carrying years of self-doubt. Now, she stood as a beacon of potential, of what was possible when someone was given the right opportunity, the right support. The technical aspects of her presentation were impressive, but it was the human element that truly set her apart. Emma showed how crisis management was fundamentally about understanding human connections, about creating systems that could adapt, that could heal. Her final slide was simple. A photograph of her son Miguel with a quote, "Sometimes you have to jump to know you can fly." Tears were not uncommon in the room. Veterans who had seen the worst of human experience recognized something profound in her journey. This was more than a success story. It was a testament to human resilience, to the power of seeing potential where others saw limitation. The Q&A session that followed was intense. Seasoned military leaders, corporate executives, veteran support, specialists all wanted to understand her approach. Emma fielded questions with a combination of humility and confidence that was remarkable. One question from a senior military strategist cut to the heart of her transformation. How did a cleaning staff become a leader who could manage such a complex crisis? Emma's response was perfect in its simplicity. Every system is complex, she said, whether it's a firearm that needs cleaning or a city facing a multi-layered crisis. The key is understanding the interconnections, respecting each component, and believing in the potential of the entire system. Marcus knew at that moment that Emma had become more than just a program success. She had become a case study in human potential and the power of opportunity and support. The formal evaluation came later. Emma was not just successful, she was exceptional. Of the 20 participants who had started the program, she was one of only 3 selected for advanced leadership roles. But for Emma, the selection was secondary to the journey itself. Her transformation was about more than professional development. It was a complete reimagining of what was possible. As the presentation concluded, the applause was thunderous. Veterans, program administrators, corporate representatives, all recognized they had witnessed something extraordinary. A woman who had spent years invisible had become a voice of leadership, of hope. Marcus approached her after the presentation. "You've done more than succeed," he told her. "You've redefined what leadership can look like." Emma thought of Miguel, of her parents, of the years spent believing that survival meant staying unnoticed. She had learned that true leadership was about being seen, not for show, but with purpose. The invisible guardian had become a visible leader. Her journey was just beginning. The Arizona sun cast long shadows across the Holloway Veteran Empowerment Center as Emma Rodriguez stood in her new office, a space that would have seemed impossible just months ago. The walls were adorned with mission statements, community impact, reports, and photographs of veterans who had transformed their lives. But among these images, a simple framed photograph of a mop and a cleaned firearm reminded her of where her journey began. Her role as Director of Community Engagement and Veteran Support was more than just a job. It was a calling, a mission, that drew from every experience of her past, from her immigrant parents' resilience to her years of cleaning the shooting range, from her journey as a single mother to her transformation through Marcus Holloway's program. The first initiative she developed was deeply personal. The Invisible Guardians program targeted service workers, custodial staff, and other professionals often overlooked in traditional leadership development. Emma understood better than anyone that potential wasn't about where you started, but about the opportunity to grow. Miguel, now 11, had become her greatest supporter. He would spend afternoons in her office, doing homework, watching his mother transform not just herself, but the lives of others. "Tell me another story about how you help veterans," he would say, his eyes wide with admiration. Her approach to veteran support was revolutionary. Where traditional programs focused solely on job placement or technical skills, Emma's initiatives addressed the whole person. She developed workshops that integrated mental health support, skill development, and personal storytelling. Each program was a holistic approach to transformation, drawing from her own journey of becoming visible. Marcus Holloway watched her work with a sense of profound pride. The woman who had entered his program as a cleaning staff had become a leader who was reshaping how veteran support was conceptualized. Her understanding of systemic challenges, her ability to see potential in the most unexpected places, had become her greatest strength. The first cohort of the Invisible Guardians program was a testament to her vision. Service workers from across Arizona, janitors, maintenance staff, cleaning professionals were given an opportunity that had never existed before. Leadership training, educational support, personal development workshops, all designed to unlock potential. Emma's own story became a powerful motivational tool. She spoke at conferences, universities, veteran support groups. Her presentations were not polished corporate speeches, but raw, authentic narratives of transformation. She spoke about the moment she realized her worth was not defined by her job, but by her potential. Her work caught the attention of national veteran support organizations. Invitations came to speak, to consult, to develop new approaches to community engagement. But Emma remained grounded, always remembering the lessons of her journey. The shooting range where she had once worked became a partnership site for her program. Tom Reynolds, her former manager, became an unexpected ally. "I always knew there was something special about you," he told her during one of their collaborative sessions. Financial stability, something she had fought for her entire life, was no longer a constant source of stress. But more importantly, she had created opportunities for others to find their path, to see their own potential. Her relationship with her family deepened. Her parents, who had sacrificed everything to create opportunities in a new country, saw their daughter as a living embodiment of the American dream. Her sister Rosa became a key supporter, helping to manage childcare and providing emotional support. Marcus continued to be a mentor, but their relationship had evolved. They were now colleagues, partners in a mission to transform veteran support. His military background and her unique perspective created a powerful approach to community development. The Invisible Guardians program expanded rapidly. Within a year, it had spread to 3 states, with plans for national implementation. Each success story was a reminder of Emma's own journey, of the power of seeing potential where others saw limitation. Miguel's school invited her to speak about leadership and potential, standing before a group of students, many from immigrant families. Emma shared her story. "Your worth is not defined by your current job," she told them. "It's defined by your potential, your willingness to learn, your ability to see beyond your current circumstances." Her work began to receive national recognition. Awards, media coverage, speaking invitations, but these were secondary to the real impact. Each veteran who found their path, each service worker who discovered their leadership potential, was the true measure of her success. The photograph of the mop and cleaned firearm remained in her office, a constant reminder of where she had begun. It was more than a memento. It was a symbol of transformation, of the extraordinary potential that exists in the most unexpected places. As the sun set on another day of work, Emma looked out her office window. The woman who had once been invisible was now a beacon of hope, a testament to the power of opportunity, support, and believing in oneself. Her journey was far from over. In many ways, it was just beginning. The Invisible Guardian had become a visible leader, transforming not just her own life, but the lives of countless others.